The following comments were made on behalf of former New York State Chief Judge Judith Kaye upon notice of her death on January 7, 2016. Governor Andrew M. Cuomo stated, Judge Kaye believed in the fundamental promise of equal rights for all New Yorkers and dedicated herself to strengthening our judicial system and our juries. The New York State Court of Appeals memo. The law clerks to Chief Judge Judith S. Kaye deeply mourn the loss of their beloved chief. A brilliant jurist, a scholar, writer, thinker, she served as mentor to us all, our teacher, confidant, cheerleader, and friend. Her passion for justice, her commitment to equal rights, her insistence that everything could be made better, powered by boundless energy and never-ending cascade of new ideas, will continue to inspire us always. Each of us is sustained by treasured memories of the times we spent together, by uproarious laughter born of her mischievous wit. We all feel so lucky to have worked with her. Our lives are richer for having known her, and we will miss her terribly. These comments could actually make me choke, and I'm being polite. The following is my editorial in response to the aforementioned comments. Kaye was called Madam Kaye, as everyone knew she was nothing more than a two-bit, lying, arrogant whore who had absolutely no respect for either the New York State Constitution or the United States Constitution, that she took an oath of office to defend and protect. She was compassionate and stripping New York State citizens, including our military, police, and firemen, of their constitutional and statutory rights. How many thousands of families in this state have been destroyed by her false claim that family court is now open to the public? Her refusal to address the issue of illegally closed family court proceedings. Her denial of a litigant's right in family court to a jury trial. And her denial of a litigant's right to have a judge hear the matter according to the New York State Constitution. As I have documented, Kaye on several occasions held that a person's right to a public trial and a jury trial are not substantial rights in New York State when facing imprisonment. Former Chief Judge Kaye also refused to address the illegal appointment of support magistrates to hear family court issues in violation of the New York State Constitution, Article 6, Section 13. Kaye was lucky that she had fellow terrorists, Federal Judge Thomas J. McAvoy, Federal Judge Lawrence Kahn, and Kahn Shalakis to cover up her illegal acts and those by the family court judges in violation of both state and federal laws. Make no mistake about it, Kaye was a terrorist. She participated in destroying thousands of families in this state by condoning the abuse of men, women, and children by family court judges. She condoned their illegal court proceedings, their failure to enforce New York State statutes, their failure to uphold both the federal and New York State constitutions, acts of child abuse, cover-ups, acts of extortion, and terrorism. Kaye also covered up illegal actions of Albany County DA Saul Greenberg and his assistants' illegal actions against me. She turned a blind eye to the fact that I was entitled to immunity and I was in prison for a crime I did not commit. This was an intentional and deliberately done in an effort to silence my complaints concerning judicial corruption, and she was well aware that she had no jurisdiction to rule in my case, but did so anyway. In a newspaper article in the Times-Union dated August 20th, 1995, Judge Kaye stated, "I think you would feel that if you stood before our court from watching us and listening to us and reading our decision that we're well prepared. She then said, I think you'd feel you got a fair shake. What drugs was Kaye on, as she knew she was an arrogant, lying whore? Kaye, on numerous occasions, boasted about her and the court's ethical principles during public interviews. The sad truth to this was clearly self-evident. Her entire legal career was based upon her numerous lies, as she openly illustrated and clearly demonstrated that she was nothing more than a power-mad hypocrite. Kaye secretly coordinated a statewide racketeering enterprise with a scheme to fix court cases and deprive litigants of their statutory and constitutional civil rights. She did this in order for the state to collect billions of dollars each year from the federal government. She did this in an effort to allow attorneys to make billions of dollars each year off the misery and destruction of families. She and her cronies in concert deliberately caused this to occur in the name of justice. It is not what you see the court doing, it's what you don't see that is the problem. I have seen litigants before the court who have been unknowingly stripped of their statutory and constitutional rights, and Kaye genuinely felt that these litigants have been given a fair shake. How delusional was Kaye? Kaye simply ran the largest racketeering enterprise in New York State history, as documented in my lawsuits and covered up by our illustrious state and federal judges. Yes, she will be greatly missed by the corrupt judiciary, as she covered up the judiciary's illegal and terrorist actions against the citizens of New York State. She was an inspiration to all of the corrupt judges, attorneys, and court personnel. Finally, Kaye was anything but honorable. I remember there was an interview in the paper with her sitting on, a picture of her sitting on one side of the bed, her husband sitting on the other side, and all their briefs, or briefs from the court, in the middle. And she's talking about how they used to sit there on bed at night, going over the different briefs and discussing them and everything. What that was actually translated into is the two of them sat there trying to figure out how they were going to screw the litigants over before they screwed each other over. My question is, which bag did she wear? The one with the happy face, or did her husband prefer this one? You may not like it, but she destroyed families in this state. She's destroyed thousands of them, stripping people of their rights. Every man, woman, and child in family court that is in jail or in detention are illegally imprisoned because of her. Why should her family? Why would anybody want to be friends with her family after what she has done to this state? And she came from Poland. After she talks about how she came from Poland after the war to flee what happened over there, which was horrendous. And how does she repay New York State? By screwing over every family she possibly can in the state of New York. Why would anybody want to be friends with her or her family members? Why would you want to be associated with her or her children? She was a disgrace to this state. She was a two-bit, lying, arrogant Democrat whore who was out to destroy the families of this state, just like the rest of the Democrats. My only thing is, may she rest in hell for what she did to all the men, women, and children of this state, because that's what she deserves. And to think Bill Clinton wanted to put her on the United States Supreme Court, but she figured she could do more damage by being Chief Judge of the Court of Appeals. And to think about it, If Hillary was elected as our president, she would be picking somebody just like Judith Kaye to strip us of our rights in this country. The Democrats do not care about our rights or our protection. They are out to destroy our families, one at a time. Thank God we dodged that bullet of Hillary. Almost forgot. Years ago, I had a father needed a wanted poster, so he drew one up for Judge Kaye. Well, I drew the picture for her. And this was the wanted poster. This is the real Judith S. Kaye. Wanted, Chief Judge Judith S. Kaye in jail for corruption. She is involved in oppressing constitutional and civil rights, extortion, covering up and authorizing illegal imprisonments, violating her oath of office to defend and protect the New York State and federal constitutions, violating state and federal penal laws, covering up judicial corruption, conspiring with other judges to fix cases and oppress constitutional rights, allowing judges and hearing examiners to make orders that are prohibited by the state constitution, operating a racketeering enterprise, allowing state officials to claim a litigant is despondent and possibly armed with fully automatic orders in order to threaten and intimidate the litigant for demanding his rights be enforced and to hide the illegal actions of the judiciary. The taking and giving away of real property of others in secret court proceedings where the owner is not allowed in the courtroom. Lying to the public about opening up the family court to the public. Family court has been required to be open now for over 20 years. Well, since 1989. Kaye said it was open in 97, made a big deal out of it, and the courts are still, most of them are still closed to the public. The New York State Court of Appeals is better known as Madam Kaye and her House of Whores. They're prostitutes for the New York State judiciary. These judges are corrupt and unfit to sit on any court, let alone the Court of Appeal. Too bad she didn't get to spend some time in jail where she belonged for what she's done to the families of this state. She refused several times to address the constitutionality of state statutes as required by law. Ruled several times that litigants do not have a right to a public trial, jury trial, a court of proper jurisdiction before they are imprisoned. Why are these federal judges covering up her illegal actions? Because they don't want thousands and thousands of family court proceedings ending up in federal court. That's the reason why. And to sit there and say she was this wonderful judge, you're hearing it from those who are participating in it with her. They are corrupt. The judiciary, New York State judiciary is corrupt, and she does belong in hell for what she's done to the families of this state.